Hello everyone, in this video we'll be trying to beat Batman Arkham City without making any upgrades. This is the second part of the series where we're trying to beat the Arkham games without making any upgrades. In the first one we did Batman Arkham Asylum, and if you haven't checked it out, feel free to do so. And for those who have already checked the first video, I'll do a quick refresher of the rules. They are pretty simple. The first rule is that I'm not allowed to make any upgrades throughout the playthrough, whether that's by using an upgrade point or through a side mission which grants you an upgrade such as the Grapnel boost. Neither of those are allowed in this challenge. The second one is that I am allowed to pick up gadgets if I find them along the story, because without them the game would be impossible to beat. With that, we're done with the rules and we can begin with the challenge. Our story begins in Arkham City and we're playing as Catwoman. We beat up a few goons. Unfortunately, we're interrupted by Two-Face, who points a gun at us. Now we're transferred into the body of Bruce Wayne as we get interrogated by Hugo Strange. After that, Deadshot made a threat against me and I beat up a few goons while still handcuffed. These guys must be the worst criminals ever. A billionaire beat them up while handcuffed. Unfortunately, after that, Penguin got his hands on me and he wanted to punch me in the face. However, my face was too pretty for that, so I broke his arm in order to assert my dominance. This made the Penguin run away and I only had to deal with his goons, and then I acquired the Batsuit. Now, it would have been more fun to just play as Bruce Wayne the whole game. Unfortunately, you have to acquire the Batsuit and go rescue Catwoman. I did that pretty easily. I just had to beat up Two-Face's thugs. After that, I released Catwoman and Two-Face was in a very bad position. I let Harvey hang in there and rescued Catwoman yet again. I analyzed the crime scene and began bullying Two-Face by throwing batarangs at his face, hoping that I would even out his face. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to do so. My search led me to the church where I absolutely annihilated Harley Quinn. You would think that after the previous game where I gave her brain damage, I would be gentler with her. However, I decided against it and then did the Predator tutorial. I rescued Cash for like the 100th time and then headed for the top of the church where I found a lot of explosives and the Joker trying to blow me up. I tracked down the Joker to the steel mill, beat up his thugs, and Harley greeted me in the only acceptable way after a night out with friends.
What the hell are you doing here? You're supposed to be dead!
I then continued defying Harley by taking out all of her henchmen, until eventually I rescued the Doctor, who was taken hostage, and acquired the remote electric charge. With its help I managed to destroy the Joker's funhouse. Unfortunately, then I was interrupted by Mr. Abramovici and his stupid hammer. Mr. Hammer wasn't that difficult to deal with, and then I found the Joker's corpse. Had he finally died, I was so excited that I threw Harley away like a ragdoll again. Surprisingly, it turns out that I fell for the fake Joker gag, and then Harley finally got her long-awaited revenge. Honestly, I kinda deserved it considering how many times I did unnecessary damage to her. I got whacked in the head so hard that I turned into Catwoman again, and in her body I went to hang out with Poison Ivy for a while. She wasn't in the mood to deal with me, so she caught me in her tentacle, and I guess the experience was so traumatic that I immediately went back to Batman's body, even though the guy was just waking up from being whacked over the head several times with a baseball bat. In other news, it turned out that Mr. J wasn't dead, at least for now, and he revealed to me that he gave some of his blood to me, so I was poisoned now too. Okay, so the Joker's grand plan is to poison Batman with his blood. Okay, fine. That's a good idea, I guess, in his head. But like, you can kill him much quicker than the Titan poisoning by using your blood though. Like, if the blood is not compatible, you can kill him very quickly. What do you do then? As if Joker really doesn't want to get cured, he then pushes Batman out of the window while he's tied to a wheelchair. Somehow Batman doesn't get any injuries from that, so I guess Joker is the luckiest person on the earth. I then had to find Mr. Freeze, who was developing a cure. However, he got kidnapped by the Penguin, so I had to deal with the Penguin's men. After that, I had to find Freeze in the museum, but first I had to destroy the communication jammers. That was pretty easy to do as only a few henchmen defended them. Inside of the museum, a dinosaur tried to jump scare me. After that failed miserably, I saw how the Penguin kills a policeman in front of me, so he had to pay for that. Being fueled by anger, I forgot that I didn't have that much health, so regardless of how many people, Titans or Abramovici twins he sent against me, I beat up every single one of them without any issues.
When you're done in here, feel free to join me in the Iceberg Lounge so I can kick your ass again.
Oh, so we're big on threats now, Oswald, is that so? I was really here just to get Freeze, but now I'll take a detour to kick your ass instead. I found Freeze, he told me how to deal with Cobblepot's weapon, and went to confront him in the Iceberg Lounge. Needless to say, I punched Cobblepot so hard that penguins began flying. Right after that we have to fight with Solomon Grundy, and thankfully the quickfire explosive gel is not an upgrade, so it was pretty easy to deal with Grundy. After that Cobblepot came back for more, so I beat him up even worse than before. To make matters worse for him, I then gave him to Freeze and told Victor to do whatever he wanted to him. In order to get the cure, I had to find Ra's al Ghul. Conveniently, one of his assassins was already captured by Cobblepot and for some reason didn't try to escape until I mentioned Ra's, so it was very easy to follow her blood trail and find where Ra's was hiding. My search sent me to the sewers where Joker's cure was also there, and if you die here, this results in the most logical death screen ever.
If you're dead, who's gonna save poor Mr. J?
You know, Harley, poisoning me with Joker's blood is not the greatest idea if you want to keep me alive. I rescued the intern and it was finally time to find where Ra's was hiding. I found the keyhole and conveniently a single assassin tried to attack me with the exact sword I needed to open the door. Somehow Riddler had put a trophy in there, I don't know how that happened. Unfortunately, Joker's blood had finally taken its toll on my body and I was about to die. My parents even came to my death. It was very nice of them. This is where I was interrupted by Talia of all people. Who would have thought that she would be there protecting her father? Considering that I had to keep up appearances for Talia, I suddenly stopped dying for no reason and the two of us went to see Ra's. Ra's wanted me to be his successor, so he let me drink some of the demon's blood in order to heal myself. For some reason that fixed my blood poisoning, however I was still poisoned by the Titan and needed the cure. I don't know how that works, but sure, whatever. Ra's trials were pretty easy to deal with, you only have to glide through the next area. After that the boss fight also wasn't very difficult, so long as you get used to the moves Ra's does, and after that he threatened to kill his daughter. Unfortunately I guess he just didn't have the balls to actually do it because he takes his sweet time. Batman has the time to throw his sword, take out a Batarang, start doing something on the Batarang, get the chance to aim, and Ra's is still not executing his daughter. Honestly, Ra's deserves whatever he got in the end. Talia wasn't exactly pleased with me after I refused to kill her dad, but to be fair, her dad refused to kill her as well, and I had more important things on my mind at the moment because I still had to cure myself from the Titan. I went to a Predator section, dealt with a lot of goons, and came back to Mr. Freeze. Freeze then completes the cure and you can finally heal yourself, right? No, because Freeze decides to be brain dead for a while. Okay. As great as the Mr. Freeze fight is, and it's probably the best fight in the whole game, it's literally the most unnecessary thing ever. So Mr. Freeze creates two cures, right? And he destroys one of them to intimidate Batman into helping him save Nora. But Batman is literally the type of guy who saved the Joker. So if you just ask him, he will save your wife. There's no need to destroy the one thing that's gonna keep him alive. You're actively sabotaging yourself, Victor. Not only that, okay, you think that you need to intimidate Batman. You literally need Batman to save your wife because for some reason you can't do it yourself, even though you know her location, Victor. Why, during the fight, you would actually then kill Batman? It makes no sense. Why would you kill him? He's your only hope to find Nora. And after Batman defeats him, he's like, ugh, Batman, you have to stop the clown for what he's done to us. Bro, I would have stopped him so much easier had you not been an idiot and attacked me for no reason. Oh, and by the way, he also managed to get the cure stolen. Well done, Victor. You're quite literally stupider than the Joker. And that says a lot. I then rescued Vicky Vale, that was pretty easy to do, I just had to deal with the snipers. I then returned to the steel mill in order to find the cure. I had to take out a few goons, but that was no issue. Then the doctor I saved earlier tried to attack me. Unfortunately for her, my reflexes were too quick, but I decided to spare her nonetheless. Then I went through a predator encounter, which was pretty easy even though there were a lot of mines all over the place. And then I had fun time with Harley. I found her tied up, so I did the only logical thing. I started trolling her by constantly gagging and ungagging her multiple times. It was hilarious, she was getting so mad at me, but there was nothing she could do about it. That's what you get for hitting me in the head with your stupid baseball bat. Then out of nowhere the Joker challenged me to a fight. That was very unfortunate for me, because if he looked that well, he must have used the cure, so I was screwed, there was nothing I could do about it. In the end of the fight, the Joker blew up the ceiling and I was stuck under a pile of rubble. To make things worse, Talia showed up and offered him the Lazarus pit. Things weren't going well, so I decided to go back to being Catwoman, who's been hanging upside down in Ivy's place for the past 8 hours. 9 hours? What the hell have they been doing all this time? I dealt with the Tiger Guards, destroyed Ivy's orchid because she made me hang for so long, and then had the moral choice of either saving Batman or abandoning him. I decided to save him as he was my friend, and he saved me 2 times tonight. However, I don't know why I abandoned the suitcases, I could have easily taken them with me. I saved Batman and was transferred back to his body. Unfortunately, Protocol 10 had begun, so I had to deal with that. And my own friends gaslighted me into going after Strange instead of saving my girlfriend Talia. Very nice friends I have. I easily dealt with all the Tiger Guards and ascended Wonder Tower. Not being able to use any upgrades wasn't that much of a handicap, honestly, considering that Strange decided to employ the biggest idiots ever, so taking care of them wasn't that difficult. Strange then showed himself to be an idiot as well, considering that he trusted Ra's al Ghul. Only an idiot would do that. In his final moments, Strange decided to blow Wonder Tower up. Being the idiot he is, Batman tried to actually save Ra's, so naturally Ra's tried to thank him by trying to stab him. But because he is also an idiot, Ra's did that by stabbing himself first. So basically in this game Batman just deals with idiots all the time. Joker is an idiot, Mr. Freeze is an idiot, Ra's al Ghul is an idiot, Hugo Strange is an idiot, Quincy Sharp is an idiot, the city of Gotham are idiots for voting for him. Literally everyone in this game is an idiot. Talia is an idiot for getting herself caught by the Joker as well. In fact, that's not even the real Joker. How did she do that? How did she get captured by Clayface of all people? While the Joker was gloating, Talia decided to become the main character for 5 seconds. Unfortunately, that wasn't the real Joker, so she got shot immediately. It was time to face Clayface, who was the final boss of the game. Honestly, thanks to the freeze grenades, he was pretty easy to deal with. He wasn't much of a challenge, honestly, even though he should probably be one of the strongest enemies Batman has to face. With the fight complete, Batman got his hands on the cure and cured himself. He also tried to kill the Joker by throwing his sword at him. Unfortunately, the Joker was still alive, but that did give him one final opportunity to show what an idiot he was, because Batman was going to give him the cure, but the Joker was impatient and decided to stab the guy in the shoulder of the arm that was holding the damn cure. Who would have thought Batman would drop the cure when he got stabbed in his arm? But let's be honest, the cure wasn't saving him. The Joker literally dies 20 seconds later. Unless the cure is actually throwing him in a Lazarus pit, the Joker was gonna die anyway. Regardless, the Joker was dead, and with that we completed the main story of the game without having to do any upgrades. That being said, we're not done yet, as we still have the epilogue and the side missions to deal with. Starting with the epilogue, Two-Face blew up my apartment, so he had to pay for that. I went to the museum, beat up all of his henchmen, and then it was time for the final Two-Face battle. At first I thought this was the toughest fight in the whole game, because I was constantly getting absolutely annihilated by the gunman because of my low health. However, I quickly realized that if I took out everyone in the top floor, I would have just enough time to take down Harvey without the guys on the bottom floor ever being an issue and without anyone realizing that I was even there. So with that, Harvey was dealt with and the epilogue was complete, and we can proceed with the side missions. In the Hush side mission, all you have to do is investigate the crime scenes, and then you meet up with Hush and you don't even fight him, so no upgrades are required there. The Victor Zsasz side mission is also very easy, considering that all you have to do is find the phone that's ringing and then locate another phone that's ringing before the time runs out. Honestly, without the grapnel boost, it is a bit difficult to get there in time, however it's still manageable without any issues. In the Iceberg Lounge you have to go get an upgrade for the Disruptor. You don't have to use it at any moment. After that, for the Mad Hatter side mission, Batman loses his mind because he takes a cure that he literally doesn't need anymore, so he has to deal with Mad Hatter now. But Mad Hatter's mission is also very easy because all you have to do is beat up a few henchmen and then that's it. The Deadshot side mission is also very easy. You just have to find the guys Deadshot is killing, investigate the crime scene, find where Deadshot is operating from, and then take him down. And the fight literally went for 5 seconds with him, because all you have to do is sneak under him and take him out. For Azrael, all you have to do is find him, you don't have to do anything other than that. You find him a few times and then go to his location and you're done with that side mission as well. For the freeze tech in the steel mill, you have to go inside of the steel mill. That's probably the toughest side mission because you have to go through a lot of predator encounters and a lot of henchmen in order to get there. The AR trainings are pretty easy to deal with because all you have to do is glide properly and you will be able to complete them. You do have to acquire the grapnel boost upgrade, however you don't need to use it, so I'm not counting that as a failure. For the Bane side mission you have to use the explosive gel in order to destroy the Titan containers. Unfortunately, when you're done with that you don't get to fight with Bane, you only have a fight with a few henchmen and then Bane gets taken out in a cutscene, which is very disappointing. Finding Nora is pretty easy and you guessed it, you have to beat up a few henchmen and you're done with that side mission as well. And finally we have the political prisoners. They are just random encounters, you have to save them from being beaten up. And finally the Riddler. Like before, it's impossible to complete all the Riddler challenges without making upgrades because you need things like the range enhancer for the cryptographic sequencer or the mine detonation of the Disruptor, and without them you cannot complete those challenges, so the Riddler is impossible yet again. And with that we have completed the challenge. Honestly, it wasn't very difficult. Most of the time I was dealing with enemies pretty easily, I didn't have any trouble with the bosses or anything like that. Arkham Asylum was probably a bit more difficult and this one was pretty easy to complete. So are upgrades necessary to beat Batman Arkham City? No. Only for the Riddler challenges, honestly. Even on the hard difficulty it wasn't that hard, ironically, to complete the game. But nonetheless, I hope you enjoyed the video. Feel free to check out any of my other challenges. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye!